Hey, this is Craig from Guitar Lava, and today I wanted to share with you a guitar that I restored this week. I bought an Ibanez RT150 off of Reverb last week. I got it on Monday, which today is Sunday, so I got it like less than a week ago, and I was hoping that it would be in better shape than it was, but it was really bad. So anyway, let me back up. The reason I bought it is because a buddy of mine always talks about Suhr guitars, S-U-H-R guitars, and he just never shuts up about them. Anyway, I don't like to spend that much money on guitars, and I don't think you need to. I think a lot of it is brand hype. If they want to sponsor me, I'd be happy to talk to them about it. But anyway, when Phillip McKnight mentioned the Ibanez RT series.
So let's talk about that. First guitar that we're going to talk about that's a biggie right now is Suhr guitars. Suhr is spelled S-U-H-R. Suhr was a master builder at Fender Guitars, and he started his own line of instruments, including the pedal. I own the Riot pedal, which is a fantastic pedal, and but Suhr guitars are very expensive, averaging from about $3,000 to $4,000 for essentially a Strat style guitar that has a performance like a Tom Anderson Ibanez kind of feel to it. Now, he has an affordable line at $2,000, which is a very stripped down version, and it's still $2,000. So what do you do if you have your hankering for a Suhr guitar and your budget is not that? Well, the guitar I would recommend to you is the Ibanez RT. T, not RG. RT. The RT series is made in Japan. They no longer make it. And when you go on eBay and Reverb to look for them, they will pop up. There's not a lot of them. And they range from $150 to a max of $500 is what they usually go for. This is an Ibanez RT 12-string. Now, what makes RT uniquely amazing is they are made in Japan. Their necks will feel a lot familiar to the Suhr guitars in the fact that they are not thin like the Wizard Ibanez necks, and they are not thick as the Fender C-Cut. They are right in the middle. This feels very familiar. If you're a Fender player, this will feel good to your hands. If you're an Ibanez player, this will feel good to your hands because it's right in the sweet spot in the middle, just like Suhr, which is why people are kind of gravitating to his necks. 12-inch radius fretboards, the same, right? They are made in Japan. Okay, this one has Kluson tuning keys. Again, this is a 12-string, which is kind of cool. I have a little overdrive. So the RTs, alder bodies instead of basswood. They are hardtails and tremolo style bridges. A lot of times will come with installed DiMarzios or the Ibanez equivalent, which is a DiMarzio style pickup. So what you're getting is this, and so you know your mind is usually blown because a Japanese Ibanez guitar of this kind of quality with these features, you would expect to spend even used $500 to $1,000, $500 to $1,000. So the fact that nobody knows what they exist is why they live in cheap land. So I'm kind of ruining it for a lot of guys who have been buying them up and enjoying them. They even have flame maple tops that make them look like the Suhrs. Again, amazing guitars. Ibanez RT series. And as far as I know, they're all Japanese, but please look in the descriptions to make sure they are. At some point, they may have switched to Korea, and as far as I know, that would probably be great, but definitely an amazing guitar. If you're looking for a Suhr and you want a guitar in the $500 less budget, the Ibanez RT. Now,
I put it out a search filter for it because I couldn't wait. I wanted to get one, and I missed on a couple of them, but then one came up. It went for sale. It's sold within an hour because they're really hard to get. They're not super expensive either. And then the same guitar came back up for sale, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna buy it. So I offered, and I got it for $240, and that was this guitar. Don't get ahead of yourself yet. So I ended up getting the guitar, and like I said, it was in really bad shape. He only showed 3 pictures on Reverb, so it didn't look bad on Reverb. I saw that there was a little chip up here, but that was all you could tell. You really couldn't tell. Thankfully, the neck was in great shape. The board, fretboard, fingerboard was really dried out and hadn't been cared for. It's a 1993 Ibanez RT150. But the body had been, it had been dropped several times, and the input jack was jammed in there. I mean, I planned on kind of fixing it up, but it was in really bad shape. So I went back to the seller and said I'm returning it. Like, that's how bad it was. Usually I'm like, I'll just work with it, but I'm like, for that kind of money, I wasn't going to waste that kind of money on it. So um, basically I went back and I said, hey, well, I'll give you $100 for this. That's it, because it is in such bad shape. And he accepted my offer, which is really, like, he was very apologetic, and my hat's off to him. He was really a stand-up guy, because he is new to reverb. Anyway, I got it on Monday. Immediately, I borrowed a heat gun from a friend. And I ended up burning off. It was black, and it had, well, it was chipped up everywhere, but it had a good 1/8 inch thick finish on it. It was black and gloss and all that other stuff. So I ended up stripping it all down. And it turned out really amazing. I'll show you the pictures. You can see I'm probably doing that while I'm doing this. Anyway, I stripped it all down, including the back. And after that, I ended up sanding down. I ended up sanding it all down. And I kept some of the burn marks because I must have really burned it, because it was really burned up. And but I kept some of them because I just thought, man, it just kind of adds character. So if you saw my other build, I did a build of an Ernie Ball Music Man, which is basically like an Eddie Van Halen Wolfgang. I used, on the top of that, I used vintage amber Stuart Mac stain. And I'm like, oh, I got that. So I'm just going to reuse that. So far I got $100 into it. I'm not going to do anything else. As far as money goes, I'm just going to stain it. So I stained it with vintage amber, and I took the guitar apart. Obviously, everything was gone except for this. And I stained it with vintage amber several times, really dark, the whole way around. And if you even look at the back, it looks even a little different than the front, but not much. Much. And then I used True Oil on it. And I did that. First coat was kind of thick. Second coat, and third coat, fourth coat, fifth coat, sixth coat. You just keep putting it on, let it dry, and keep putting it on. So I waited about every 6 to 12 hours to put another coat on. It didn't take long to do that. So, in between doing this and that, I would end up stopping by my guitar and rubbing it on. So anyway, after I did that, I ended up putting some gunstock wax on it as the final coat. just kind of seal that oil in and stuff, and it just turned out awesome. I just love it. It just looks so good. It looks so it's not perfect, but that's kind of what I like about it, you know. Okay, so another thing I had to work on was this neck. This neck was in horrible shape. As far as crud goes, the good thing was whoever played it for 20 some years didn't play it much, because hardly any fret wear. The frets are in perfect shape. All I really had to do is clean it, heavily clean it, polish it, add tons of oil to it to clean it up. And I actually got a Gagamite rag after the fact, where I thought it was all clean and stuff, and it ended up cleaning it. It was so dirty. I got Wilkinson, the double hole, the easy lock tuning keys, machine heads. They dropped right in. I got a new Graph Tech nut, but I didn't put it on, so I have that. This one's still fine. I'm not worried about it. These are cheap. I got these, and I got the Wilkinson bridge. And if you haven't seen these Wilkinson bridges, I love them. It's so great. I got both of these, the bridge combo and the tuning keys, for like 55 bucks. So now I got 155 into it, because I had the stain and stuff. If you notice on the back, this is the difference between Fender and Wilkinson stuff. If you see Fender, all the holes are straight in a line. Trev Wilkinson figured out that the G string, I guess it's the G and the E string. Is that the right ones? I don't know which ones. I can't remember. Anyway, he figured out by staggering them, it'll help keep it in tune. I've never had an issue with any vintage brand guitar, because they use the Wilkinson bridge, and you can dive bomb and do everything you want, and it stays in tune. And Rick from Vintage told me that is why. So I had the bridge in, got the bridge, and got the tuning keys. I had to drill new holes for the bridge, I forget what this is called, the trem claw. So I drilled the old holes. I filled in with glue and toothpicks, and then I had to drill new holes for this, and I also had to run new wire. This is the same. I also got this input jack, which came with the actual jack itself. I had to cover in the jack. $5, free shipping. Can't beat that. So now what are we up to? 160 bucks. This is the big thing. I got the loaded pickguard from Sigler Music, and it was about $230, and that's a really good price. If you get these DiMarzios separately, they're all like 80 bucks a piece. So right there's already $240. So I don't even know how they did it. And these are all 500K pentiometers, two tone and a volume, and a 5-way switch. It's all quality stuff. Now, the original RT150 came with this, and if you'll notice, it has a humbucker up at the neck. So this is different. Plus, the shape of this is different. It might look the same, but it's actually slightly different. So what I had to do was I had to sand part of this pickguard to match this guitar, and the holes, none of the holes lined up. So I took the plastic off. Still have some plastic here. None of the holes lined up to attach it to the guitar, so I ended up filling those in with glue and toothpicks and drilling new holes for these. The pickguard didn't even fit in properly because of the second and third, the tone knobs. Underneath here, I had to route out an area so this would fit and route it out there. I was a little afraid because I was hoping that this would, that it would cover it, and actually, it covered it very, very nice. It looks amazing. That's a Perloid pickguard. So $100 for the actual guitar to start with. 55, 60 counting the input jack. So I'm at 160. Another 230. That's 160 plus 230 is 390. And I have strap buttons coming. They didn't come yet. And I also have Perloid cover for back here that will go here. So my total when I'm finally done with those two things will be like $410 maybe. And a lot of elbow grease because sanding it and I had the stain and I had the True Oil and I had the gunstock wax. So anyway, the same Suhr would cost you a good $2 or $3 grand, and this cost me like $400 in less than a week's worth of work. So now, who cares if it looks as beautiful as this does, if it doesn't sound good? So let's listen to it. That gives you some sounds um, of what you can get with just this pickup configuration in this guitar. It sounds amazing. Right now, my strings are so brand new. I just put them on, and I still need to stretch them a little bit. But other than that, it's just I can't get enough of this guitar already. It's amazing. Really, I don't know what guitar compares to this except for my $2,300 Music Man John Petrucci. I mean, it's just solid. It feels right. The neck is kind of in between a Fender Strat and an Ibanez Gem, like you see back there, the green one. The Gem is real thin neck, and Strat's usually a little thicker. This is right in between. It feels very comfortable. That's it. So I'm Craig from Guitar Lava. Hope you enjoyed seeing this, and you'll see it a lot more coming up. I guarantee it. Catch you later.